All right, everyone. Welcome to the Idea to App session. So I'm just going to be showing you how to build an app from an idea that you might have. One prerequisite for this is you come here with something you want to build. The first thing you build should always be a bit simple, and then you can build upon it. And this is going to be non-technical, so you don't really need to know anything. So we're going to be using two platforms, ChatGPT and Replit. ChatGPT is mainly just for the ideation, so we can kind of go over the idea. And then once we're happy with it, we're going to be building it in Replit itself. And I'll be showing you how like Replit kind of covers the entire thing. But with Replit, you kind of have everything covered. And as a developer myself, I find it useful to get that first idea out the window. Or maybe if I have to present something tomorrow and I don't feel like going into the whole developing suite, I just open up Replit and kind of spin out an idea. So that's one of its main value propositions here. So I'll go with one idea that I had in mind, and I'll just get right into the building. So the first step is, of course, getting the idea through. So I wanted to have one idea that my younger brother was asking for, which was a study management tool that can kind of track his studies over the course of many weeks. And then at the end of a semester, he would be able to see a recap of how he studied throughout the entire semester. And so it's somewhat of a study planner, you could say. So that's the idea I had in mind. And I'm gonna start building that here. So let me just write this down. So I want to build, so we're gonna be describing in very plain English what we want. Nothing too fancy. I'm gonna build a study planner. And then I'm gonna say it should track, should have tasks, sessions, calendar, have some statistics, dashboard. So something like that. And then I'm building it in Replit, so it's going to be the website. And then I say I want a prompt to do this. So it's going to be very basic. I'm going to filter what I want to keep. So you see, it's kind of gone in depth into the entire thing. We don't really need all this depth, you know. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible for now. So I'm going to say keep it simple for now. So it's kind of giving me a few things: the task, upcoming tasks, sessions, hours completed, quick buttons, and then a few more things here. So now I'm going to copy this prompt and I'm going to start. So I'm going to continue with starter. So one thing with Replit is that you have different tiers. You have the free tier, you have the basic tier, and you have a few other tiers. We're going to be using the free one today. And in case you run out of it, you can either wait a day because they refreshes every day, or you can upgrade for $20. And when you upgrade, you'll notice that you open the door to a lot more features on Replit itself. So I'm going to paste this prompt now, and I'm going to send it out. Also, with upgrading, you unlock this plan mode. The plan mode is very useful for really complicated ideas. It helps the AI split it into multiple tasks instead of, putting it all out at once. So hopefully your Replit also looks like this right now. I mean, if you're a bit behind, it's okay. I think the most important part of any idea is planning it out first. But we're kind of just jumping the gun here because I kind of want to show you how Replit works. So you can see now it's kind of started building the pages themselves. And in case you're ever curious about what it's actually doing, you can click these little knobs and it shows you it creating the project artifact and then planning the app itself, the different modes, and then it's also designing and this and that. So it has multiple agents that work together to build the actual app. So right now it has two of these agents. Each one of the purple things is one agent that kind of builds a certain part of the app. So it seems like we have a preview now. Yeah, we have something called study flow. So this is the first preview. You can see it's still running in the background, and so we can mess around with it while it's finishing up. So let's see what we have. So we have a dashboard. We have like a summary at the top. We have two different modes, it seems. Oh, so it's yeah, there we go. We have tasks that we can create, sessions, calendars, statistics. So it's now added a task here that I can click off if I'm finished with. We also have the sessions. So it has created a session for me. Again, I think this is just done by default, but we can log our own sessions. And I'm guessing once you build these sessions over time, so let's say I want to create a session every week on Friday where I study for 2 hours. Once I have these logged, it will show up in my calendar, but also in my statistics of what I've finished for each one of the weeks. So, this is it's something very simple, but it's still very useful for someone who might not have access to this. I think traditionally when I was studying, I would always take down notes on my phone of what I've covered so far. And yeah, it's not the best way to do it because you kind of lose track of it. But to have something that's always online that I can always go back to and always just log, it's much easier. And I can always access it no matter where. Is it if it's on my phone, if it's on my desktop. Yeah, so one thing Replit also does really well is it also builds for both like big screens and small screens. So that you'll see this little preview at the top here, this little desktop icon. I can just change that to, let's say, a different size. And you can see it optimized for that screen size. So, it's still going to work perfectly. So I can open this link on my phone once I deploy it, and you'll still have the same experience that you had. So it's not limited to a desktop. So before we deploy it, let's fix a few things. So I noticed one thing that I wanted to add within tasks. I have to manually put the subject here, but I want to be able to add my subjects beforehand. So I'm going to say, able to add subjects beforehand, let's say through self menu, and then those subjects are the ones selectable from the task. So that's one thing I want to fix. Yeah, I want to add a database because right now I just wanted to make sure. So I want to make sure my data is actually using. I want to also select the semester so that data is separated per semester. I'm going to send these prompts. I'm going to have them in and kind of fix up this a bit. And then once I'm ready, I'm going to go publish. I'm going to show you how that looks. And then you guys can also open this URL up and mess around with this, and you have your own study planner, I guess. Now, this app that we built was more made for a web app, but if you're building a mobile app, you'll start with that in mind, right? So you'll tell it, hey, I'm building an app that I want to push to the Play Store, and the architecture of the actual app is going to be a bit different. Because right now we're using something called React, but for an app on your phone, you have to use React Native. So you need to fix a few things here and there. So option B would be what we want to do. We would want to convert this into an Android shell and then actually build upon that using Android. Or we can just do an easier way where we build it from the start. So rebuild it in Flutter or React Native. And this would basically just be taking the entire idea and restart. But I'm going to say, hey, I want to build this in React Native. So my thing whenever it fixes issues is just going through each thing is fixed. So it's given us 4. Let's go through each one. So the setup wizard now loads. So let's see if that works. I select my semester, math, I can get started. And you can see now in settings, I'll be able to add new semesters. So it's more adaptive to a real scenario. In settings, I can create additional semesters, switch to active one, add or remove subjects. And there's now data fixing. There's a few issues that it fixed on its own. I think it fixed something about the time zone. So it also goes and reviews stuff itself. So now when I add a task, I'll be able to select from an existing subject, depending on the semester I selected from the settings. So I'm basically able to kind of have everything together now. I don't have one app for everything. I can kind of section out each one. So if I want to select fall 26, and maybe I'm only doing one course this semester, I can just create that. So now that this semester is selected, I can go in task and you'll see it updates per that. So, I'm not kind of breaching into the other semester. And the statistics themselves, they log only for that semester. So you kind of have this diary, you could say. So let's go back into this. Let's see if the dashboard issue fixed. Let's check that one as well, because I remember that was broken. Today's the 4th. So these tasks only pop up when they're actually due. So I can take this and then I can have these done. You can also log sessions. So if I'm going for a studying session, so it's going to show up here as a session. And then also in the calendar, it shows me the tasks and the sessions every day. You can see the dots that kind of indicate that. So the other days, of course, empty. So, this is really cool. Like now I have a tracker for all my studies. I can make it more integrated. I can add a feature where, let's say, I take a picture of my notes and then it summarizes them. So that could be called a summarizer. So now that this is kind of ready, let's go publish this. I'm going to begin this process here. And then it opens up a new screen where there's 5 stages. It's first going to provision a database and provision a URL. So it's kind of getting the infrastructure down. Then it's going to do a scan of the security, see if anything is there to be leaked, any private data or anything like that, depending on the app you build. So if you build like a health app, you might have health data that needs to be more private, so over all that. Then you have the build, so it's going to build the app. and basically package it in bundle. And then you have a URL that I can share with you guys. So yeah, this is the easiest way to kind of deploy an app. You don't have to go through the entire, see, it's kind of dealt with everything. It's dealt with the region of the actual app. It also has an expiry date because I'm on the free tier, of course. If I do have the core plan, which is the $20 one, I would be able to kind of keep this on forever as long as I keep that plan on.
Yeah, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
all
Replit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see Hamza's domain here is different. It's hamzaabuqamar.com.
You can actually buy your
Right.
domain
Yeah,
even
yeah.
on Replit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. So yeah, that's
I
exciting. I
love
think
that.
it goes through GoDaddy. That's and that'll work.
Yeah.
It worked.
But maybe you also want to make some slides that you don't want to manually design. Replit also has that. It has, if you go here, you have slides. You also have animations. So let's say you have an application or you have some sort of idea. Let's say I want to make a quick animation of, I want to visualize. Yeah, so we can have this run at the background as well. So I'm gonna restart this.
Man, this used to give me nightmares.
Oh yeah, it did. I was never good at the
Yeah,
runtime,
I
bro.
never got it, bro. Dang. Honestly, videos
So
are
it's amazing. Like this is just one prompt. I just said,
crazy.
hey, I want to visualize. I didn't give it any context, no images, no context of my class or whatever it might be. And it's made this cool like hand image and it's showing me how it's done. There's no limit to what you want to build. And you don't have to specify what you want to build here. I can just tell it and it'll choose the best option out of these. It could even just be an interactive design. It doesn't have to be a full application.
Yeah, and
Let's take
obviously
this.
a lot of people are not only using it for prototyping, right? So if you actually have a job or if you're a student, you can actually use it for your job, maybe like an internal efficiency tool connected to your database. If you're a student, maybe you can feed it some slides, then it can actually give you like a tailored session, I guess. So yeah, again, sky's the limit when it comes to something like this.
Okay, so it's asked me for what deck. So I just spun up a prompt for slides. I said, hey, I made this app, make me a couple slides for this and that, and I gave it a brief description of the actual app. Actually, I like this one. So I'll let that go. So let's go to the slides now as well. So these are
Oh
the
wow.
slides.
Yeah. Yeah, we can see it.
So it's kind of give me a problem and solution, the product itself, each one of the features and the benefits of each one of them, and then an ending slide.
What are some of the skills you can see?
Yeah, so a bunch of skills here. So we have interview
They can't see
preparation.
either. Oh yeah, see it right there, right there.
Yeah, research stuff. You can do analyses on ideas you have. So it's kind of like taking over the entire thing, including the ideas and the explanations. We have business, so we can go over analyzing stocks, creating spreadsheets if you have something in mind, invoice generation, tax, documented tools. So if you want to clone a website, so let's say you like the design of a website really nicely, you can click the skill here and then give it the website link and
Like
tell it,
if
hey,
you go on my website, I'm gonna come for you.
yeah, basically.
Don't,
And
don't.
yeah, we don't condone that. We have also like creative things. So if you want to build a photo editor because you just can't, maybe you don't have the storage on your phone and you want to make one online, you can make that as well and make it kind of tuned towards what you like. You can make like 3 filters that you always like applying on pictures, and now you don't have to go online to some sketchy website and use their photo editor where your data gets stolen.
Oh wow, look at podcast generator. It actually connects to 11 labs. That's crazy.
So in the tools and files area, I'm going to go over this entire thing. We have a bunch of other things. So you can see, like I said, you can see the database. You can go over Canvas where you make up UI, stuff like that. You can monitor who's visited your website. And you can also upload to GitHub. You can click Git here, and then you'll have to connect this to your GitHub. So I'm going to go here to settings. I'm going to go GitHub. I'm going to click sign in here on this end. And then I'm going to click continue to GitHub. It will finish here. So now my GitHub is connected. So that once that's connected, I just have to create a remote. And here I'll be able to, I'll leave this all as it is. This is probably the only thing you want to change here. I'll click create. And then once that's done, I can go back. I'm gonna click confirm here. And now I can push this. So now you'll be able to view this code anywhere you need, and anyone can basically use it if you want to collaborate, anything like that. See that my code is now here on this side. So it's already pushed that. You can also ask the agent itself to push. You don't have to actually do that all yourself. So you can see it published my app 10 minutes ago, and now the code is here. And if I want to use it later on, I can use this URL, give it to something else, analyze it, whatever it might be.